do this. Yeah, getting better at that. How are you beautiful people doing this week? Coming in one day later than normal because I've been screwing around with how saturated to make the colors so that they transfer over when they get scanned because it's very strange. I don't think our scanner likes the light washes. So I was trying to really push that, but Kathleen was on a business trip and the scanner is attached to her computer, so what's the point of testing it out if you don't actually scan it? Did Sybil just fly across behind me? Probably. So, anyways, on to this week's strip. The fourth strip, I feel like that's a milestone. Who knows? Whatever. But once again, we have another tropical storm coming in. This week it's Ida. I think this is just going to be the fall of tropical storms. But Grendel, as you can see, is acting up again because the barometric changes screw with neurological screw ups such as myself. But this week I wanted to introduce you to Chico. We haven't done the introduction to Chico yet. Chico is actually a holdover from my street performing days when I would do magic, and it was way. If you perform magic, you're probably familiar with Chico, and especially with children, because street performing, you're gonna be performing for kids. People are out shopping, they want to see their kids entertained, and I had to do a lot of reading on just how kids interpret everything. Like the changes in a child's psychology occur so rapidly and so quickly. And a lot of magic, especially sleight of hand, relies upon social conditioning, which is why magicians, a lot of them don't like performing for kids because adults know if you put something in this hand and take it away, it's going to be in this hand. Kids don't. Kids are going to follow. They have no idea of spatial retention, so magic, at least sleight of hand, takes advantage of our social conditioning. And if you're a child, you haven't been conditioned yet, so they will nail you every time. Or you get kids that are terribly shy. The worst thing you can do as a parent is force your kid to be a volunteer. Just let shy kids be shy kids. But if I did have a very shy child that their parents forced them in, I had Chico at the go because who can be threatened by Chico? And so I did an entire routine with Chico. And so when I started on the Kelp Bed, Chico looms large in the mythology of the Kelp Bed. Chico's always getting up to adventures, so thanks, you two. You're really helping here. But anyways, no. So I used Chico a lot. I also used, because I think Folk Manus is the one that makes him, he's a puppet. And they also had little hedgehog puppets, which led to one of the best stories of when I was actually performing. Because Kathleen called me from work one day and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm shoving pennies up the hedgehogs' butts and then sewing them shut so they have enough weight so I can juggle them." And Kathleen was just quiet for a bit and she's like, "I don't think there's a single person in this office I can tell that story to." So that's the wonderful thing. Your income is a little bit hit and miss when you're a street performer, but you get the freedom to do what you want, which same thing happening here. I get the freedom to explore and figure out what I want to do, and that's a great thing. We might as well take advantage of those small opportunities that are afforded us. And I like how you two are just going at it back there. Hopefully that's not too distracting. Anyways, I've rambled on enough for you guys. Thank you so much once again. Love y'all. Have a great day. Bye. Here we go with the fourth one. Yay, made it to 4. Life is good. Once again, I'm trying the PBO drawing gum. I'm not sure which one between this and the Windsor and Newton masking fluid. I think I'm veering towards the Windsor and Newton. But I wanted to give it a good shot. I wanted to give it a chance, do it more than once. So I will continue to use the same paper, the Arches hard press paper, and try the next two with the Windsor and Newton masking fluid just to make sure we get a good baseline going on there. I will say with the PBO, you want to, instead of just soap and water, just put straight soap and rinse just a touch. You really want to soap up your brush for this stuff because it's incredibly sticky. And this time I really wanted to push the colors because they're not coming through so much on the scanner. But that's kind of the good thing about amateur status. You can do whatever you want to, experiment around, have fun, play. We don't play enough in this modern society. I'm not the first one to say that, but that was why I put the quote around the very first run that we did. So if you want to go back and look at that, you'll see the quote there. And once again, it concerns that sense of playfulness. Have fun. You shouldn't be stressing out over this stuff. None of this is serious. I was actually thinking Maya Deren, probably one of the most fascinating figures to come out of early experimental cinema. I mean, she was a filmmaker, a dancer, a choreographer, an ethnographer. I mean, she was amazing. Just pretty much everything she did. If you haven't seen it yet, check out Meshes of the Afternoon. I'll put a link in the description. But I was reading, there's a collection of her writings called Essential Deren. And in it, she has an essay on amateurs versus professionals. And she has this great thing to say in it. Let me read from it. The very classification amateur has an apologetic ring, but that very word, from the Latin amator, lover, means one who does something for the love of the thing rather for economic reasons or necessity. And so she goes on to talk about the advantages of being an amateur, the freedom, both physical and artistic, that you get from it. And I think that, it's a true statement. People are always like, oh, well, I'm a professional at this, professional at that. They have to stick within the realms of what pays the bills. There was another great quote along similar lines that I can't remember who said it, but they were saying that a mixtape is something that is what you fuck with every day. That's the shit that you like. While an album, that's what you pay the bills with. So that's why mixtapes are inherently more creative normally, or they used to be. Just like everything, they got recuperated. But they used to be, that's where people experimented with everything. So have fun, experiment with it. None of this is serious. Shouldn't be, if you're doing it right. Otherwise, you're probably just an academic and whatever. I still like that great joke. The academic tries putting into theory what they've already witnessed working in practice. Seems to fit a lot of the time. And you'll see down there, I'm using one of the, it's the Winsor & Newton Skechers little pocket box set. It's got your basic, like China white, sap green, that type of thing. The leaves on here are sap green, but I was just dipping into that. I like carrying that around, because obviously I got some limitations on the mobility front. So having small little boxes like that to go. And normally I do a pen and ink and bomb it with the watercolor. Like I said, bomb it. Yeah, this PBO drawing gum, it's rather sticky. Like I said, I'll try out. Next week it'll be Winsor & Newton masking fluid, and after I do that a couple times, then I can give a fair comparison. I didn't want to just use it once and be like, oh, the other one's better. Why, thank you, Sybil. Not sure if the microphone picked that up, but Sybil wanted in on this video. He's got something to say. I had somebody ask me once why I use a dip pen instead of, markers, and there's enough plastic crap in this world. We don't need any more plastic crap floating around. That, and I like the tactile sense. I like the give and take that's in a dip pen, the flex to it. And once you get used to different nibs, it's wonderful. If I'm out and traveling about, like I said, with the pocket watercolor kit, I use a fountain pen. I actually use a Twisby Echo and with a fine point, and in that I put Sketches permanent fountain pen ink, and that seems to work out really well. It's not as hard sticking as the acrylic ink, but I would not want to put acrylic ink in a fountain pen. I just have a feeling that would generally be a bad idea. And, I'm really concentrating here on what's the least amount of lines that you can use to convey expressions, emotions. I watched the documentary on the Impressionists a long time ago, and whichever one of them went to the Academy, I think it was Degas, yeah, took out a book that was talking about the simplest lines you could use to convey an expression, and anyone that looked at it would be like, that's cartooning. And with these clouds, once again, like I said, I blotted out with the paper towel, and then I just kind of let the lines describe themselves. Once you get down the basic rules of how to convey a cloud, then the rest of it it's almost like looking at clouds and looking for shapes in them. You can do the same thing. You'll see me do it on the inking in the trees, doing the clouds, that type of thing. I'm just looking for patterns and see what actually fits. Just have fun with it. I think we come back to that sense of playing. And I threw in little cat and nine tail things just to say to Kathleen that I love her, because she loves cat and nine tails. And Chico, I kind of think about Harpo when I'm working on Chico. I want it to have that kind of manic in it energy, and he has a sense of conveying innocence that's also mischievous and a little bit unsettling. So I'm not saying I'm basing Chico on Harpo or anything, but at least not trying to draw him or portray him, but I am thinking about Harpo's, spirit as I'm working on Chico. That's kind of like my touchstone. And man, I love this Quinadris in gold. It's just such a beautiful color. And I was kind of curious here how I was going to interact with the violet that seeped through the masking fluid. I'm not sure why that did. Maybe I had too much soap on my brush. There's always a huge chance of pebcac when I'm involved. If you don't know what pebcac is, ask your sysadmin at whatever job you have, or you can look it up. It's the internet. Everything's searchable. Use DuckDuckGo though. Screw Google. And this is another travel set. I think this is Watercolor Confections. Prima has a bunch of these different like pastels, complexions. I think this one is the complexion set. I'm pretty sure it is the complexion set, because I'm trying to work out the colors that'll be used for Chico all the time. And I think I found them. I think it's going to be Chant for his face and hands, and Tiki for the fur, and then, use other different transparent, semi-transparent colors to kind of give it body. But starting out with those base coats so that, I want each one of them to have their own recognizable colors. And this kind of comes back to graffiti and tattoo artists will tell you, like, I think I think it's on Wild Style. Lee talks about bombing a whole car, and you want that to be read from a long ways away. And I think cartoons and tattoos and graffiti all have that together. You want them to read from across the room. And there we go. Week 4 in the bag. On to bigger and better. And having more fun